Alright everybody, it's TheMasterBlaster coming at you again from Spray Tech Finishing in Elk Grove, California. Today's video is going to be a little different. We're going to be showing you how to refinish furniture. At Spray Tech here, we do all kind of wood finishing. If it's wood, no matter what it is, we finish it, we refinish. We do anything you can do to wood, we do it. So I'm going to show you how to refinish 2 end tables and a coffee table. And I'm going to show you the right way. They actually wanted the color changed a little, taking it from like a yellow to a nice brown. I'm going to call these my do-it-yourself videos because everything I do in these videos, you can do. I'm going to show you what we'd use if I brush this stuff on, what sanders you can buy at home. With very minimal investment, you can do the same thing at your house with whatever furniture you want to do it to. That being said, we'll get on with the video. Hope you enjoy it.
Alright, this is the coffee table we will be refinishing. We have the coffee table and 2 end tables, and I'll be showing you what to do and the things you need to so that you can do it at home with pretty much any project with minimal investment. I know everybody doesn't have spray guns and sanders and big air compressors, so I'll be explaining how you can do this at home too. The first thing you're going to want to do is disassemble it as much as possible, as much as you think you need to. This one has Phillips screws in it and the square tip screws, so I have both of those. I got a pair of pliers and a pin. What you're going to do with the pin, I'll show you right now, because you want to keep track of where everything goes. Like on the top down here, I'm going to take this top off of this bottom railing, so I'm going to mark it right here where it's not going to be seen, so when I put it back together, I know which side it's on and how it lines up. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and start taking it apart, and I'll show you the process.
Alright, you're going to want to get a bag. Put all your screws and stuff in, keep them all together. You're going to start disassembling. And I suggest anybody that's going to do this, go ahead and get you an electric drill. You know, you get a pretty cheap one on Amazon, Harbor Freight, wherever. If you're going to do these projects, it just saves a lot of time. You can do it by hand, but it takes a lot longer. It's a lot nicer and more comfortable if you have an electric drill to do it with. And a lot of people, you know, you have furniture laying around that was your grandpa's or your grandma's or your mom and dad's that you want to pass down through the family. And it's a pretty neat thing if you can do it yourself and refinish this stuff. And you can do it. It's not that hard. You just got to give it a try. As you can see, you just disassemble it. Make sure you put all your screws in the bag. If you want to know where they came from. It doesn't take too long. And it's pretty fun to do. Now I'm going to show you a water-based brush-on finish that levels out really nicely. It's a very durable finish. So you don't have to have spray guns, you don't have to have all that fancy stuff to do it. You still do a very good job with a limited budget. There we go. Got the bottom loose.
Alright, now that you've got it disassembled, I'm going to show you the next step, which would be sanding it. And for sanding it, I would suggest if you're going to be doing these projects at home, you get an electric sander. I use the DeWalt sanders myself. They take sheet paper. You're going to want to get different grits. You probably start it with like 100 with this and go down to at least 220. 100 to get most of the stuff off, and then go down to 220 to smoothen it out. And you're going to need a stain. On this particular job, they wanted it darker. We've already done their bedroom set, and now we're doing the coffee table and 2 end tables. And it's quite a bit darker, so my wife made a custom stain for it. You'll sand it down now, you'll stain it, and you use this for the finish. If you're going to be brushing, this is brushable and rollable. It's a very good product. General Finishes, high performance flat, water-based top coat. You can brush it, roll it, and spray it. It levels out really good. You can use it on floors, stair rails, stairs, steps. It's a very good product, and it's water-based. And you'll need to get you a brush. I like the pretty brushes. With soft bristle brush so it doesn't leave streaks. Alright, we'll show you the sanding from here on. It's pretty simple. You can do it.
you can see, you'll need to wear a mask because there's a lot of dust coming off these things. You'll want to sand it down to bare wood and try to get all these little divots as far as you can out. Since we're changing the color on this one, if we were, wasn't changing, well, this one's pretty beat up. I think you'd have to sand it down no matter what. But that's what you want to do. You want to sand it all the way down like that. I'm not going to let you guys watch the whole sanding process, but I'll show you after it's sanded what it looks like. See something cool at a yard sale, an old dresser or something? This is how you can do it yourself.
All right, this is how far we sanded the top and the bottom. We started out with 100, then we went to 150, and then the final sanding was with 240. We didn't do the legs. You can get into a lot of trouble when you start doing the legs. You sand it down, you can't get them all the way sanded down, so they come out funny looking. So we actually made up a different stain to go on the legs, a little bit darker, so we'll sand it lightly where we'll take some of the stain, but we don't want to sand through on the edges and stuff because it will show. So we'll show you what that looks like, but this is the progress so far. We're getting ready to stain it, and I'll show you that procedure also. As you know, we have two of these nightstands. One of them I wanted to get more into it and leave the other one original like it was so you could see the difference as we go. They wanted to take away from this yellowish color, and they wanted to get more into brown tones, so this is what we did, this right here. Stained and sealed, the top coat's not on it yet, but as you can see it's coming out pretty nice. Real happy with the color, it got rid of that yellow, and it's just brown tones now. We'll be showing you how to stain the coffee table and go through that process, and I'll be showing you when I spray it to finish it also. Alright, now we're going to show you the staining process. This is my wife, she's been a little camera shy so far in the videos. She's just wiping the stain on with a sponge. This is a custom stain that she made up for the colors that the clients wanted. We usually spray our stain on, but on these little projects you can just wipe it on. And she's got the proper mask on. If you're working around these chemicals, around the wood sanding, always make sure you got the right mask with the right filters. It's very important for your health. And you want to be healthy and live a long time and finish a lot of furniture. Now she's wiping it off with a rag. Usually you try to wipe with the grain. And there's going to be some spots on it that are a little light, and she'll have to touch up after she does it. Especially when you're refinishing stuff, you got to make sure you've got all of the top coat, the old top coat off. This seems to be coming out pretty good. See how she touched that up, the spot she missed. Just keep the rag wet and just use your sponge whenever you need to. Spots you've seen you missed or need to touch up. You just go to the hardware store and pick out, what color stain you want, how dark you want, and that's how you get your stain. You can do a little sample piece like on the bottom of this. You could have done a sample piece to make sure it was the right color. That's what we did, so that we know when we stain the rest of it, it's the proper color. Alright, now she's staining the base to the table. Make sure she's getting down all the nooks and crannies. And the bottom, she's going to do it one section at a time. This stain's a solvent based stain, so it dries pretty fast. Sometimes, like if you're doing the top we just did, sometimes it'll take two people, one putting it on, while the other one's wiping it, will be your best results. Making sure she's covered all the areas.
Table was tight for me.
Yeah, she switched from that other table because it was a little too high for her to reach. Like I said, normally we spray this stuff on inside of our booth, but these little projects, you can just do them by hand. All right, she's doing the legs now. As you can see, we didn't sand those all the way down to bare wood, but she did sand them, pretty much all of them, to rough them up so that they'll take some stain. And it comes out pretty good. You'll see the finished product when we put them all back together. This is the process: sand, stain. Make sure you get all the little nooks and crannies. But it's worth it when it's done. Whether you're doing it for yourself or a family member, or if you're just out trying to make a little money on the side, just take some time and a little elbow grease and you can create your own product, something you can be proud of. She's flipping over so she should see it in all directions of the way you're going to see it. Make sure she got every nook and cranny covered properly.
A little girl.
Got a little brush there to help her with getting inside of stuff. They come in pretty handy. Those are Harbor Freight too. You get a box of them. They're pretty cheap brushes, but they come in handy when you're staining. We're getting the stain out of the grooves and spreading the stain around. Some of that stuff you just can't get into with your hands or folding the towel up. You have to have a little brush. All right. Next, I'll show me sealing them. We're going to stain them tonight, and we'll let them dry the whole night and part of tomorrow to make sure that the stain's good and dry, so you don't have no reactions. It sticks good, and the finish sticks to the stain, to the wood. You don't want any of it wet. But you can do this at home.
All right, we've let the stain dry 24 hours, and I'm going to go ahead and spray this with conversion varnish and show you how to spray it. I showed you the brush on finish at the start of this video. I will be doing a project with that to show you how to do that. And one little hint, when you're doing refinished furniture, you don't know what they put on it before. They put that Murphy's oil or one of those other finishes that you're supposed to just rub on and magically work. It's actually got a lot of oil in it, so it soaks in. So always put in your clear finishes, always put a couple drops of smoothie. In like a gallon, put 2 drops. And it takes away the fish eyes, and the product comes out way better. You don't see it. It doesn't mess with the finish. For some reason, it doesn't work in paints. It makes the paint coagulate in the conversion varnish. But that's what I'm doing. We'll go ahead and show you how I spray this stuff, and we'll go from there. That's your sealer coat. If you notice, I didn't put a sealer inside the drawer. The next coat, we'll be sanding it, and we'll be doing the inside of the drawer box also to give it a fresh finish. That's it. I'll show you from there. We'll sand it, and I'll show you the finish coat. All right, you're to this point. You've sanded it down to bare wood. You've stained it. You let your stain dry 12 to 24 hours. And then you've sealed it. You've let that also dry 12 to 24 hours. Now it's time to sand it for your final coat. If you're using one of these electric sanders, which you can, I would suggest 400 grit paper. They're a little more aggressive. You do not want to sand through any of these corners or any of this wood right now, because you're on the finished product. I'm going to go ahead and sand mine with my air sander because I have the proper paper for that. I don't have the 400 for that. So I'll show you how to sand that. Again, you don't want to over sand it and go through. Then I'll sand it with the sponge. These are wore out a little. They're not quite as they are new. They're used ones, and that's what you want to use on your last coat. You don't want to use new ones because they'll scratch it and you'll leave scratch marks. So you're going to go over it by hand, and you can see as you're looking at it what's smooth and what needs to be sanded out. Just take your time, make sure it's right. And when you feel the top is sanded good, you can start on the edges. And that's why I use these sponges that are, they'll form to the corners and stuff. I don't use those square hard ones. They don't do it. So I'll just go around the edges here by hand. You don't want to hit those machines right now because you will go through. Be careful not to sand through. If you sand through, you can patch it up with some stain and stuff, but you'll always notice it. It always leaves a spot. All right, that top is pretty much ready to be blown off and wiped off, and spray the top coat on it. Now something like this with these fancy legs, you're going to want to sand the whole thing by hand. You don't want to try to hit any of this with a machine. You'll be going through for sure, and you can't get in the nooks and crannies. Again, these sponges work great for this. That's all we use. Just sand around all of them. This takes a little while. You want to sand them where they're all smooth. Down in the little grooves. Remember, this comes out as good as you make it come out. If you take the time to do it right, it comes out right. And that's what you want. You want it to look good. You want to be proud when you show it to people. After you sand it, just feel it, make sure that it's smooth everywhere if you missed anywhere. Again, don't go through it. You're going backwards if you go through and you don't want to go backwards. Alright, and you continue to do that, the other legs and the sides just like that. The sides are the same thing, just by hand. And that's it. You finish sanding the whole thing all the way around, and that's also ready for top coat. And it's what you do to the drawers too. On the last coat of the drawers, you sand the inside of the drawers and the front. And also you spray those, you spray the whole drawer so you got a nice clean coat inside the drawer. It starts all over again. And it's that easy, it's not hard. You can do it. Alright, now that we've got this stuff sanded, blown off and wiped off, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to spray it. Even if you're using the brush on stuff, it's the same way. All the steps are the same. So, alright, we'll show you how I spray this stuff. Alright, now that I've sprayed it, or you've brushed it, it's time to let it dry and assemble them, and we'll see what they look like. We'll see in a little bit.
Alright, here's the finished product. Went from that yellow-orange color to a nice rich-looking brown. The owners that own these came and saw them. They were very happy with them. And you can do this too. Just follow the same steps I did. You can have your furniture that you want to refinish come out just like this. Alright, with that being said, if you guys hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to. I'd appreciate it. Alright, this is the Master Blaster. Peace out, everybody.